happiest of Mondays, everyone. How are you? Hope all is well. Coming off another big victory, covering the spread again. It's like death taxes and covering the spread in 2025 for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Do me a favor, hit that like button if you have not already. Like. If you have not subscribed, please do that. We are inching dangerously close to our goal. We're approaching 37K very, very quickly. So how about you join in and help us get to that goal? Go ahead and click subscribe, hit the bell for notifications whenever we go live, and you'll be able to dive right in. Also, we got a good show tonight. Massive Penn State star transferring to Ohio State, question mark. We're going to talk about it. If this goes down, I'm going to be so excited, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. But also remember, when you guys send those wonderful super chats, helps to go towards the pay it forward, which is our military, first responders. We're always going to look out for them because they always look out for us. Nevada Buck, what's up, brother? Happy Monday.
Well, it's a great Monday for sure, and any time that we get to podcast together, and we're back at the 7:10 time slot.
7:10.
I mean, life is indeed good, B, and yeah. I mean, wow. Ohio State they are a covering machine. This seems like a team that's just getting better and better every week. And it's funny. It's because you look back on 2024, which is kind of the gold standard, the national championship team. And I look back on those games, and they weren't nearly as consistent as this group. I mean, and that's not dogging 2024, and that's not anointing 2025. But man, I mean, 2024 was kind of an uneven season. It kind of went up and down and all around. And this year, we just keep getting better and better. And I think the distance between us and the rest of the college football world seems to be getting bigger and bigger by the week. And yeah, it's great to be a Buckeye. A lot of people want to jump on board, and it's nice to be the kings of college football and maybe the back-to-back national champions.
Yeah, and while others are trying to jump on board, you still got some who just refuse to not be goofy. They're scratching and clawing and dying on the hill that Ohio State is overrated. And so it is what it is. It's fun. It's really fun listening to content creators, do all types of backflips and, matrix bending backwards to try to justify their idiotic takes about Ohio State. So there's that. But yeah, I'm thinking about what your point about last year in Nevada and the consistency. And so it begs the question, what's the difference? Because we had a ton of talent last year. I mean, the talent was there, but you got Will Howard coming from Kansas State in his first year learning the system versus Julian Sayin, who has a year of the system under his belt coming into this year. On top of that, a higher ceiling of talent than Will Howard. So what do you think about that? Just those two things. Do you think that has anything to do with it? And then also this defense although last year's defense was really good, this defense came out the gate consistent.
Yeah, it's. I mean, look. I mean, Will Howard had crazy success last year, crazy numbers, but Julian's just been better. He's just
Yeah.
been better, and I think when you pass at a higher rate, and then you start passing at a more frequent rate, that combination can really lead to less fits and starts on the offense, and from a defensive standpoint, we've just been able to, consistently suffocate teams and bring them down. We're not having any, I mean, knock on wood, but remember last year, the Nebraska hell game, where we
Yeah.
barely won. Obviously, we had the Oregon game where the offense, did their job, but the defense completely, soiled, that night. And, the Penn State game that we played at Happy Valley last year, that was a game that we had to hold them, goal line stand at the goal line and then drive off the goal line for 8 minutes and run the. I mean, we had a lot of nail biters this year. Like you said, we just roll the ball out there and cover the spread. Now, maybe the rest of the college football world's just down, and that's possible too, because that happens from time to time as well. But boy, these Buckeyes just they've taken a lot of the drama out of it, and yeah, when you have a quarterback that's completing 80.7% of his passes and the two best wide receivers in college football. Ohio State's playing it on the easy mode right now, and certainly making the games look routine, which makes it fun to watch for sure.
So, real quick question, because you keep saying stuff that's making me think, and then we'll hop into the topic. So, I was having a debate or a discussion, I should say, with a chat earlier, a group of guys, and we were talking about predictions on the completion percentage for saying for the regular season, and some of them were saying, "Oh man, just to be safe, 76%, and 70." I'm like, well, it was basically over or under 80%. And I was thinking, like, okay, yeah, sure, maybe it's hard to fathom having a streak of just 80%. But then I was like, bro, we got Purdue, UCLA, and Rutgers. And Michigan, yes, that could be a tough game, but they've been exposed in their secondary this year. Their secondary is not great. So it's just like, man, I don't know if I'm willing to go below 80% Nevada against these teams we're about to play. Am I tripping?
Well, you're talking about just for the regular season or for the entire season?
Just the regular season.
Just regular season. Um, yeah, I'd have a hard time betting under. I'd have a hard time. I mean, I know as crazy as that sounds right now,
Yeah.
I'd have a hard time going under 80%. And that's wild talk because all it takes is a couple of drops or whatever. And we think about that Texas
Right.
game where he had, like, if you had those three drops, you'd be probably at 83% right now. So, yeah, it's wild to think when you've got a quarterback that's kind of just rewriting what it means to be a quarterback in the and again, the crazy thing about that stat, it's not just the 80.7%. It's the second in yards per attempt in the country as well. I mean, when you marry those two things together, then that's when you get into the twilight zone, and that's officially where we're at on Julian. And the problem is he makes it look so routine. It's like, oh, 20 for 23, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, 320 yard or whatever, and everybody's just like, oh, ho hum, and like that's just those numbers are just impossibly good. And the fact that we're seeing this execution and he's getting better. I mean, he's gotten more audible responsibility. You just remember that play where he audibled, where they had the run blitz coming from the right side. He ran it to the left side. Obviously, he
Yep.
RPOs him to death. I mean,
Yep.
he's got full command of the offense right now, doing a lot, a lot to move guys around, get them in the right spot. On top of executing at that high level, crazy, absolutely crazy. But yeah, I think he can finish at 80% or higher for the regular season, and that's just like I said, just an impossibly high standard and high bar. But I think he can do it.
What's the record again? Is it 78% by who's got the record? Bo Nix, right? Bo
I
Nix,
think I think that's right.
78% or 76, one of them. But that's very attainable, man. Like, I don't know, but like you said, they can't check down Charlie him. They can't try to check down Charlie him because of him being ranked second, in average yards per pass and all that. So it's amazing. It's amazing what he's doing, and we may be able to circle back to
Well,
this. Go
and
ahead.
it's not even like yards after the catch where the guys are catching little passes behind the line and run. I mean, when he's throwing those bombs, dude, he's dropping that stuff right right in the bucket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, he's almost like one of those, just like those machines, like those jugs machines that can like put the
Yeah.
thing exactly right. I mean, yeah. Every game he comes out and does it, I'm just amazed. It'll be interesting to see when he has to do it in really bad weather, which inevitably at some point here in this next couple of years, there'll be a bad weather game and they'll have to throw it. And that'll be different and that'll be interesting to watch. But yeah, every time you get a chance to watch this guy, enjoy it because he's not going to be here long enough for me because 2 years or whatever it's going to be, 30 starts, that's going to fly by and we're almost halfway through it.
Definitely. And Stilly, you asked if it was Bo Nix or Joe Burrow. It is Bo Nix, and it's 77.45% um, for the record. So let me see. The record is a more of a recent point. Okay, yeah, 77.45%, 2023 in Oregon. So I think it's doable. It's doable with this schedule we got left. So we'll see. But definitely want to get into the topic at hand. And Nevada's got some cheesy goodness for us. We've been in on Penn State players, visiting Ohio State. We should have some good news coming up soon about some players and and all that. But this one would be big if we can make this pop, man. And there's definitely, a good connection, some ties to Ohio State here. But Nevada, why don't you kind of go into the title of the show, man?
Well, the guy that it's not going to be exactly a secret. It's not exactly um, something that can happen until the end of the year. But the Chaz Coleman sweepstakes have kind of already revved up, and while Ohio State can't tamper, contrary to the the wailings from the Penn State people about him hugging an usher who played with his uncle or something like that. And I know there was a picture of him doing that in terms of doing it, but the word from his camp with Ohio State is extremely positive. His recruitment was kind of a weird one because he'd kind of gotten it. I think they were recruiting him to play a different position. I think they're recruiting him to play tight end or something like that. And he's a rush end. Had a really good relationship with his position coach. Position coach got him there. Well, the word is that he wants to come home. He wants to come back to Ohio. Wants to come back to Ohio State. And should the NIL deals be competitive, that he'll be a Buckeye. And for Ohio State, obviously you're in a situation right now where next year, despite the fact, I mean, let's take inventory of the good in 2026. We can talk about the offense. You return the quarterback, the running backs, the tight ends, the entire offensive line, and every wide receiver not named Tate on the offense. That's 10 of 11 starters starting on. Now on defense, you're losing a bunch, and specifically, you're losing Kenyatta Jackson and Caden Curry, your two starting defensive ends. So you've got room for starting defensive ends for a kid, a Harding kid, Warren, Ohio kid that is obviously a terrific player. They're at Penn State right now. Bring him home. Ohio State's gonna, this is a position they can allocate money to. This is certainly a position of need on the defense. And I, from the people that I talk to, I think this one's going to happen. Now, obviously, Penn State's got to name their next head coach. I mean, there's a lot of things that have to kind of go through the process here, but I really think this one's got legs because the people that I'm talking to are very, I mean, the closest to Chaz, and I really believe it's going to happen. I think there's a lot of reasons for it to happen. I think that long walk out of the stadium, there was more to that than even meets the eye. And it had nothing to do with the usher and but it had everything to do with his own. I mean, this is where he wants to be. And I think this is where he's going to end up. And that's a huge get for Ohio State and something that would be the equivalent of getting a 6-star recruit in the next recruiting class. But I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I hope so, man. He's nice. True freshman, has made a lot of plays this year. I don't know if y'all remember the play with the kid, because Penn State, they don't have their names on the back of the jerseys. He's number 19. He's the one that put the spin move, I believe, on I don't know who got sliced up. Hinsman.
Hinsman. Yep,
Yeah.
Hinsman.
He just spin cycled Hinsman and got to the quarterback. Now we got rid of the ball, but I'm saying he's lightning quick, super athletic, fast, all that. And so I would love for this to happen. He would fit right in, makes perfect sense. And yeah, an Ohio kid, we offered him 2 months after Penn State did. So we were we were obviously recruiting, but we didn't offer him until November of 2024. And Penn State offered him in September. Took official visits to both, and maybe he felt, more welcomed, not welcomed, but a better fit at Penn State with the position he's in. Like Nevada said, tinkering around with tight end, and because he's athletic. But now clearly we see his future is at defensive end. So yeah, Nevada, this is a huge update, and I really, really hope this happens. And again, it makes a lot of sense because you talk about the NIL allocation for money. It's one thing just trying to get a player, a luxury player. Oh, this would be nice to add just to No, like we're going to need D linemen, D ends. Perfect fit, perfect transition. I love it, Nevada. I was very excited when you mentioned this.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things where, in these age, you're looking for kids that are good fits, that are good cultural fits, that want to be there for the right reasons. And I think he wants to be there for for all the right reasons. And I think Notre Dame will be a player of this because his position coach is heading to Notre Dame. And so, I think there's, that's obviously something, Notre Dame's always something, but for an Ohio kid to want to play at Ohio State, I mean, like right now, I mean, come on. We're the defending national champion. We're cooking in 2025. We're loaded for 2026. We've got it going. You got the whole state behind you. It's just, I mean, it's really a dream come true for a lot of these players, and for him. Penn State's a nice program, but you're not going to. Why wouldn't you want to be developed at the best, by the best, and play for the national championship? And
Right.
more than likely, you're not going to do that at Penn State. And this year, heck, they're not even going to go to a bowl game. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I don't know what they're going to end up. I don't even know they're going to be bowl eligible. So, if that's where you want to be for I mean, like I said, I think it's a no brainer. I think it's one of those situations where I think it's a marriage where both parties get exactly what they want. And you're exactly right. I mean, Ohio State for this position, they'll allocate the money. They always have the money for the key spots. When Will Howard, when they needed a quarterback, they didn't lack for money for Will Howard. When Quinshon Judkins became available, or Caleb Downs, what I'm saying, they'll pony up. For a defensive player, especially a defensive player, freshman eligible, that's coming from in an in-state kid, yeah, they'll pay him. And that's why I think I always look for the lines to line up and for it to be a good marriage. I think this is a perfect marriage for both parties.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And you talked about kind of on the topic of defense. You talked about losing guys, and I know you didn't mention him, but this guy is most likely gone. It's Arvell Reese. And so you see, and the thing is, yes, he's a linebacker, but what he's doing on the edge is crazy. And in your opinion, Nevada, I mean, Chaz Coleman, he has this type of ability. Like under Matt Patricia, he can be used in so many different ways. Like we said, he's on the leaner side of things right now. Another year in the weight room, he's already lining up over the center and getting providing crazy matchup problems. Just imagine him coming off the edge, being moved around a little bit. I mean, this is a great pickup if we can get him. And I know Matt Patricia's like, yo, NFL, like look what we're doing. I can just imagine the meeting in the film room with Matt Patricia trying to paint the picture of how he can use him, Nevada.
Yeah, no, it'd be fun to see, and like they don't all work out exactly the way you like. I thought Bo Atkinson would be better than he is. I think Bo Atkinson right now is kind of pedestrian. I
Yeah.
mean, I want him to be better. I'm rooting for him, and I think he can be, but not every transfer, kind of goes out there in terms of doing it. And not look, I mean, the way we're talking about Arvell Reese, I mean, Arvell Reese looks like freaking Micah Parsons out there, and I don't throw that
Crazy.
around lightly because I think Micah Parsons is just a generational type of defensive player. But I mean, I think that's what you're seeing with Arvell is a werewolf out there, and you talked about why the defense is as great as it. Why has the defense surprised? Why has the defense surpassed expectations in 2025 that most people had, considering the fact that we lost 8 starters and had all those, you lost all that experience from the number one defense in the country last year. If you said you boil it down to one, you have to pick one reason, Nevada. You have to only pick one. I'd say Arvell Reese.
Yeah.
I mean that's the ascension of Arvell Reese from part-time player last year, 160 start snaps or whatever he took, and good player and flashed and certainly made some big to this. I mean, come on. I mean, if I put that question to you, B, what's the biggest reason? What would you? I mean, and your choices are Matt Patricia, Caleb Downs, Kenyatta Jackson, Caden McDonald, Arvell Reese, schedule. I mean, what you can pick anything you want. Where are you falling down on this one?
It would either be Matt Patricia or Arvell Reese.
Yeah.
And me and my guys were talking earlier. My guy Dewan, he was saying the same thing. He was saying, "I've never seen anything like this. How he's lifting the offensive line off their feet, how he's effortlessly rushing the quarterback. He's triggering like a All American linebacker. I mean, what can he not do?" And so when you have, because it's one thing to have Caleb Downs, who's a dog, but then on top of that, you got this monster who can also spy your 4-4, 40 time QB. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's amazing. So I have no problem with you saying Arvell Reese, although Matt Patricia could be a pick as well. But this dude is crazy. And Chaz Coleman, I'm not saying he's a clone, but he has similar abilities. And so I can see him and his people looking at this system and just salivating over the potential at Ohio State for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at Arvo Reese, and I mean, it wasn't that long ago. This You don't have to go back to the Wayback Machine to 2001 or something to think about some. I mean, this is a recent recruitment that not a lot of people were real excited about. I mean, it was a good look. I'm excited about every commit. I always say that, and I
Yeah.
certainly saw potential for him and athleticism and Glenville. I mean, you know, all those things checked every box. But this, I mean, the fact that Ohio State has taken Arvo Reese from what he was to this, yeah. If you're Chaz Coleman, I mean, that's the path. That's what you want. I mean, that you're like, I want what happened to him. That's what I want to have to happen to me. And I mean, ask yourself if Arvo Reese had chosen West Virginia or Rutgers or wherever, you know what I'm saying, and gone there, do you think he'd be at this level right now? I
No,
don't. I don't.
no.
I think development matters. I think environment matters. I think culture matters. I think learning from Cody Simon and playing under Jim Knowles and then Matt Patricia. You know what I'm saying? I think all these things have led him to this place to be, as good as he is. It didn't happen just by accident, and it wouldn't have just happened if he wasn't in the right situation. And I think that is the emphasis that you can make to a player like Chaz Coleman to say, "Hey, we develop our kids. You come here, you're gonna leave here the best you can be. I don't know how good you can be, but whatever it is, you can be the best you can be." Because right now, you can make an argument for Ohio State. I'm gonna say something. You're gonna say, no matter you're crazy or whatever.
All right.
I think Ohio State has the four best players in all of college football, all on the same team. I do. And you might even get a fifth, but Arvell Reese, Caleb Downs, Julian Sayin, JJ Smith.
And that's not even including Carnell Tate.
That's what I'm saying. That's not even including Cornell. I mean, but I think those are the top four players. And you tell me, name somebody better than one of those guys.
You can't. I mean, there's maybe a debate. I know people love Jeremiah Love. I know. I mean, I think that Bain kid from Miami is a tad overrated statistically. I mean, I'm just thinking of the names that people like to gush over. But yeah, I defy you to name me a better top four. I just can't think of it. And so,
No, but I
yeah,
mean, they're best. They're best. I mean, name a better safety than Caleb Downs. Nope.
you can't.
Name a better linebacker than Arvell Reese. A better wide receiver than JJ Smith. A better quarterback than Julian Sayin. I,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, the
when you're
closest wide receiver to Jeremiah Smith is on his team.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's the other guy. It's the second guy. It's the plan B guy. I mean, yeah, it's wild to think about, but that's the environment that a guy like Chaz Coleman's walking into. You're walking into a room with the best of the best, and that's who you get to practice against, and that's who you get to play against, and that's the environment. And that's what happens when you come here, and that's why the players, hey, if you want to create generational wealth, it goes way beyond NIL money. It goes way beyond, how much sponsorship you got here or whatever it is. Not all in every development situation is the same. They're just not. And, for Ohio State, I mean, like Carnell Tate. Do you think if Carnell Tate had gone to Miami that he'd be this good? I don't think
No,
so. I don't think so.
no. And I put up Sayin's clips. This is from Twitter, and it's showing some of his throws, the accuracy, the footwork in the pocket. It's just, I mean, how he gets the ball out. Even that throw right there is
Yeah,
just
that one
underrated.
that might have been my favorite throw of the day. That back shoulder throw, kind of to JJ on that
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, that was a huge one.
And then you see he just ripped the seam in my Tom Brady voice. He rips the seam. And so, I mean, it's just it's amazing what this team is doing, and it's equally amazing the people who are trying to dismiss it as if it's nothing. Oh, they don't play anybody. It's mind-boggling how you can watch this team and not say, "Oh yeah, this team is really really good." Sure, you might want to see them play like Indiana in a Big Ten title game. Sure, but to try to dismiss this team as if they're not really good or deserving of being number one, although tomorrow we're going to see what the committee says. The first CFP rankings will be tomorrow, and Dev will be doing a live show on that, I believe. I'm pretty sure. So that'll be exciting. But definitely wanted to show some throws from Sayin before we, if any super chats are coming through, we'll get to that in a minute. But let me ask you real quick about the CFP rankings tomorrow, because your boy Chris Felica of ESPN, is he on ESPN or is he with Fox now? He's with Fox now. He said he thinks Indiana is going to be number one in the rankings tomorrow. Now, listen, full disclosure, we've said this before, we don't care. I actually kind of hope Indiana's number one. But what do you think, Nevada, is going to happen tomorrow with the
Ye-
ranking?
Yeah, yeah, it's like you and I have the same brain. We've melded into one person right now, B. Because I absolutely think we will be number one tomorrow, and I really hope it's Indiana. And you know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
heap down the disrespect on the Buckeyes, man. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
that the so yeah. But do I think that they're going to take a team that's the defending national champions and that just is run through everybody? And again, we talk about covering the spread and change the word from covering the spread to has exceeded the expectations on every game, the expectations of the betting public on every single game. I mean, how in the world could you pick against Ohio State? And when the biggest thing you can say against them is, oh, they've only beaten Texas, at Washington, at Illinois, at Wisconsin, and Penn State. Like that, like that's supposed to be the big dig on Ohio
Right.
State. Like, I mean, like, come on, guys. So yeah, no, but I think anybody saying that Ohio State's not going to be number one is just trying to be provocative or trying to go for clicks or whatever. But no, Ohio State will be number one tomorrow. But I hope I'm wrong. I really hope this is one of those ones where I'm wrong. It's Indiana, and everybody's up in arms and yelling. Nothing would make me happier than that.
Yeah, me too. Same. That would be beautiful. Like I said, some fans think we care about that. We don't. We've been there, done that. I mean, it's an old hat. We care about being number one at the end of the season. A team like Indiana, who's really good and we respect, this is new territory for them. So they can rock that proudly in the regular season all you want. But I think you're right, Nevada. I do think because a part of it is still the eye test. And if you watch film, if you watch this team, it's hard to come away and say this team is not worthy of being number one. And I think Indiana has an argument. They've been really good. They got some good wins. They've been dominating. No offense to them. I respect them. But yeah, I think we're number one and we're probably going to be number one. But I hope
Well, I
I'm
mean,
wrong too.
their out of conference schedule was Kennesaw State,
Oh, yeah, true.
Indiana State, and I can't remember the third team, but it was equally as bad.
I'll pull it
And
up.
yeah, I mean, at least we played Texas. I mean, I'm telling you, Texas is going to surprise. Texas beat Oklahoma. Texas is a good team, man. I mean, yeah, they lost to us and they lost one other game, but they're a two-loss team right now. And they've got some really good. They just beat who did they beat Vanderbilt? Yeah, they beat
Yeah,
Vanderbilt,
number nine Vanderbilt.
number nine. So it's like come on, guys. Like, I mean, Indiana didn't schedule anybody. So
Yeah, here it
I
is. Oh,
yeah,
go ahead. No, you're
no,
right.
but who were the
Old,
three?
yeah, Old
Old
Dominion.
Dominion. Oh,
Yeah, Kennesaw State, Indiana
tennis.
State.
Yeah, I mean that's out of conference schedule. I mean, like, come on,
Crazy.
that's crazy. But hey, but let's game this just for a second. Let's just because we're speculating, we're playing around, and I know there's games between now and then. Blah blah blah. I get it. But Ohio State undefeated, Indiana undefeated. We play in the Big Ten championship game in Indianapolis, and we lose. Where do we fall in the rankings?
We'll still be in the top five.
I think we go to two. I mean, if our loss is to number
We
one,
should. We
Yeah,
should.
you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, but they're certainly not going to move you out of the top four. You know what I'm saying? And I think they move you to two, but at that point, it's like you don't know the way that the way that the 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 12 team playoff is set up and the way that it's so uneven in terms of the brackets and the teams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to be good. You don't know if the one seed's going to be good, the three seed's going to be. You have no idea. So as far as I'm concerned, if you're anywhere in the top four, you're fine.
Yeah.
Frankly, I mean, what did we won last year from the seven spot or the eight spot or
Seven or
eight,
eighth
yeah,
spot. Yeah.
yeah, eight spot. We went for the eight spot, so it doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying? And for Ohio State, I mean, I'm going to say something sacrilegious, but I don't even care if there was some way we could avoid going to the Big Ten championship game and having more time off, but because you just don't know it's so random. Because remember last year, Penn State had the world's easiest schedule to get the championship thing. Remember they
Yes.
played like I can't remember who they
Boise
played, but it was
State,
Boise State, then
SMU. Yep.
SMU, and then Notre Dame. And if Drew
Yeah.
Aller doesn't completely soil the buoy against Notre Dame,
Yeah.
they're playing for the national championship.
True. Yep.
So, like, I mean, it literally took Drew Aller snatching victory from or defeat from the jaws of victory and leading them, down the path that he's always done. But yeah, so you just don't know. That's kind of the conundrum in this whole thing right now is, you have this great regular season and then you get rewarded by having to play a hell game in the Big Ten championship game on something that doesn't really matter. It doesn't help your seeding. It doesn't, one versus two or one versus three, it doesn't matter. It absolutely doesn't matter. Um, because you're going to get that buy anyway. So, um, it really sets up an interesting thing in terms of, you know, I dare I say it, load management and playing guys that may be slightly injured and, who do you hold back and what are you trying to do? I
Yeah.
mean, there's just all sorts of, permutations on this, that are going to come from that. But hey, one game at a time, 1 week at a time, and this week it's Purdue.
Yep. At Purdue, I saw y'all in the chat earlier clowning. This is not a trap game, folks. One, this team is they're too mentally locked in. They're too mature. Two, Purdue is bad, which says a lot for what they did against Scum, taking them down to the wire. I posted a video of Steve DeAce responding, very disgusted in Nevada about how close it was. I mean, he was really upset. Purdue is not a good football team. We will be ready and we will blow them out. This is not a trap game. You heard it here first, Nevada.
Well, how's the weather? B Moses,
Good.
the B for weather bug. There's he's checking on it.
Let me pull that back up. I thought it was in the 50s. West Lafayette weather. Yeah, I could have swore it was 55. Let me see. Is there a 35% chance of precipitation, 64% humidity, 16-mile-per-hour winds? So good. That's the highest winds for Sayin to throw in. Nice little test to get ready for the big blouse if it's windy up in Ann Arbor. But pretty for West Lafayette, that's gorgeous. It's always terrible there.
Well,
Like
and,
if the
and I'm
what?
gonna and I'm gonna say, hey, if your son is listening right now and you're wondering what to get dad for Christmas, get dad a Doppler. He wants his own Doppler so he can check the weather at all times out there in terms of doing
Yes.
it. And yeah, so a hoodie and a Doppler. We get there and that'd be awesome. But no, I mean that doesn't sound too bad. I mean, as long as
No.
it's not going to be like some torrential, 75-mile-an-hour winds or something like that, I think we should be able to throw the ball just fine. Yeah, and Purdue's really bad. I mean,
Yes.
have you seen their look at their scores go pull up their schedule and look who they've played and what the scores have been in the game. And then you look at that their one game 21-16 against Michigan. It was like, where in the world did that game come from?
All right. Let me see. Purdue football schedule. Matter of fact, let me let the people see this as well. Because I haven't looked at their schedule. So you about to show me something.
Yep.
Here we go. Okay. So Ball State 31-0. Well, okay. 34-17 Southern Illinois win. Then all of them are straight losses. 33-17 USC. They lost 56-30 Notre Dame, 43-27 Illinois, Minnesota 27-20. They lost 19-0 against the Nerds. And then Rutgers 27-24, and then Scum in a dog fight at the Big Blouse 21-16. So yeah, not a good
I mean,
football team, folks.
no, they are not. They are definitely not a good football team. And yeah, this is one of those games where athleticism matters. They're going to try to throw it, so it'll be interesting to see. It'd be a good test for our our pass defense. And I think those guys. It'll be a good test for them. And I think our defense needs a good test after last week. I thought that they showed a little bit of vulnerability. But I think Purdue's coming up at the right time, and I agree with you. I don't see a letdown. I don't see a trap. Purdue's not good enough to trap them, and it's yeah, it should be pretty comfortable.
All right, so I'm gonna mention something before we close out here, because you mentioned vulnerability on defense. So I wanted to bring this out. So everybody's talking about the toss left play that we showed some vulnerability on. So one thing, I went back and watched that play. They ran it 3 times in the game in the first half. So first of all, the first thing I noticed when I watched Nevada, the first thing that jumped out was, oh my God, we are severely outflanked. We were outflanked like crazy. They had 2 linemen. Here's my notes. Says Penn State had 2 blockers in the backfield. One was Drew Shelton, number 60, number 71, or number 66, 306 pounds. Number 71, 328-pound Oleviavaga Ioane or something. Both in the backfield with 2 receivers in front of them blocking. They pulled the whole line to the left. And we only had 5 guys to the right. And it wasn't just the numbers that outflanked us, it was the size. Ignosin, Lorenzo Styles, Sonny, Arvell Reese. 5 versus 6 plus their whole line. And if it was Trey Henderson back there running, they might have scored on that play. But the point is that is fixable. We did fix it in the second half. We made adjustments. But that's something that they schemed us up on off of the bye week, and they did a good job. But we were just simply outflanked. They looked at our film and saw how we align. And, sometimes we bring a guy up. We got that penny front, and they schemed us up nicely. And they had a nice game, and they even scored on it. But we adjusted, and we will continue to adjust. I'm glad they did that. I'm glad that was exposed because we were able to get it on film, Nevada.
Well, what's interesting, to your point, is they ran it 3 times in the first half, and we never stopped it. We never stopped it. And then, to my knowledge, and because I was watching for it, they didn't run it again the rest of the game.
They didn't.
So, it's all fine and good for us to talk about adjusting, but I'd like to have seen at least have seen us adjusted and stopped at one time. But
Right.
they literally, it's kind of like Lane Kiffin in the Sugar Bowl where we stopped Derrick Henry by them stop running Derrick Henry or whatever it was.
Right.
It's
Right.
like what in the world? Thank you, thank you for telling. I mean, what in the world were they? Because that was their best play, and they completely went away from it and didn't run it again. And I thought their offensive coordinator had really done a great job up to that point. I thought he was really doing I thought he was one step ahead of us the entire first half, and then the second half, like I said, he literally went away from it, didn't run that play again, and I found that very, very odd.
Yeah, and it could have been. And listen, I've been a little busier than usual, so I have not been able to go through and comb through the second half as much as I did the first. But I'm wondering if we came out with some different alignments, like basically didn't give them the look that we gave them in the first half to feel confident with running it. But I don't know. I got to go back and look. But either way, they didn't try it. You would think they would still try it since they had success. But yeah, good to get on film. I'm sure Patricia, to me, even with Scum having a power run game, to me, I'm glad they did that and showed some holes so we can adjust to it weeks out before the next good to decent power run game team we play. You got anything to say to that before we hop on some chats?
Well, yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I mean, it's not like we won't be ready, and I'm telling you, Michigan without Justice Haynes is a very different running attack.
Yes.
Very different running attack. So, any concerns that I had about them being able to grind the ball out and drive, with him not in the lineup, they have been assuaged considerably. and that's a
Yeah.
very good development for Ohio State.
Yep, definitely. A part of me, it's like, man. Well, obviously, we agree that we don't root for injuries. That's obvious. And a part of me is like, dang, I wish he would play because they're going to have excuses galore. But either way, it's a part of the game. I mean, look, back in 23 or 22, we didn't have Henderson. We didn't have multiple players. It is what it is. We still going to pound them. But I
No,
could just
no,
hear
hold on. Do they give us grace for not having Jackson Smith and
never,
Jigba in
never,
2022? Do you think he
never.
might have helped? Do you think the best wide receiver in the NFL might have helped us that year?
Absolutely. Yeah, you know what it is, but the excuses will come out, but it doesn't
Well,
matter.
but that's why I don't care, man. And this is where you and I deviate. I want all, not that I'm rooting for injuries, but if
Yeah.
they happen, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm sad about it because I'm not. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I'll be clear. I'm not sad about it. I'm not sad
No.
about it, but I just they're annoying to me. So the excuses are annoying. That's it. Other than that, I am not crying for them at all because they would not cry for us, and they have not.
Oh,
To your point.
never. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right, cool. So first of all, congratulations, Smith 4554 for becoming a new Scoop Ultra member. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. And then also we got Leroy. Thanks for the 4.99. Moore wears his blue collar jacket, quote, putting on a fake tough guy act, then wears winter gloves on the sideline at 50 degrees, 50-degree weather versus Purdue. Hashtag soft. OH Nevada.
I
Great observation. Yeah, listen, man. He's a poser. Sharon Moore, he's a character. You know how Nevada feels about Sharon Moore. Go ahead and go in,
Well,
Nevada.
doesn't he just always look kind of confused out there? Like, doesn't he
Yes.
look like he looks like he's on the sideline and he's not quite sure where he is? He's kind of like wandering around on the sideline and stuff, and he's looking for guys to dab up and looking for something to do. And he's not on the headset, he's not on the thing. He's just kind of wandering around on the sideline, and I'm not even sure what he's doing. So, yeah, I'm very glad that is their leader of men that they have, and I think the organization, the leader sets the tone for it, and I think he's the perfect embodiment of the Michigan man. The fact that Michigan has a coach that's coaching under a show cause, the only coach in all of Division I football doing that, that's perfect for Michigan and very fitting indeed.
Yes, he definitely looks confused out there, like he doesn't know what to do. He's like Ricky Bobby on Talladega Nights. I don't
On
know
his
what to do with my
hands.
hands.
So when he's low talking, well, we really did a nice job out there.
Oh,
That is
listen,
that's one of the greatest scenes of all time. That's one of
bro,
the
we got to do another movie segment soon because I'm itching
oh
to just talk about comedies. We need to talk about comedies, and Talladega Nights is clearly up in my top list. I love that movie, but don't want to get too far off track. All right, Skelly's, thanks for the 4.99. Nevada, do you think Scum fans are starting to panic after spending 12 milli on Bryce underwhelming? His Purdue game was laughable. Go Bucks. OH.
I I mean, look, he's regressing. I mean, he's getting worse. He is. And like, just look at the stats of his last two games combined, Michigan State and Purdue. If you're there on the Google machine, call up the Purdue game or call the Michigan State game, read the stat line, then call it the Purdue game, read the stat line. Those are the last two games. That's against the 119th ranked defense, and I think the 107th ranked defense. And if that was Ohio State, oh my gosh, it would be.
Yeah.
We're talking about Julian saying, "Oh yeah, he had more touchdown passes than incompletions," and you've got Fats underwhelming there, and he's just getting worse and worse and worse every week. And they will not let him throw the ball down the field. Any pass over 10 yards, you have no idea where the ball's going to end up. He's just spraying it all over the yard right now. But
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know if you have the stats that are by any chance there, B.
No, I don't. I can pull up the Michigan Purdue stats, but while I'm doing that, again, Steve the Ace, I was going to play the clip, but I won't. He was basically talking about he was at the game, And he was lamenting the fact that he hasn't seen that bad of a performance from a passer in several years. He talked about how many open guys there were for Michigan. He just wasn't seeing them and wasn't hitting them. And I was just thinking to myself, like, listen, well, first of all, yeah, 13 for 22, 145, 6.6 yards average, no TDs, one interception, 47.6 QBR. That's his
I mean,
numbers.
that's terrible, dude.
Yeah.
That just terrible.
And so I'll say this real quick because I posted that clip on my page and there were some people, he's just a kid, he's just a freshman. Here's the problem. Michigan, Steve DeAce, Portnoy being the biggest mouth, and other media types, they heaped so many unrealistic expectations on this kid. And then on top of that, he heaped more expectations by talking extra crazy with you ain't never seen no freshman like me and all the other boastful things he said and did, all the antics, falls right in line with the scum culture, just made it worse. So I don't feel sorry. Yeah, because listen, I think he does have some talent. I think if he's in the right system that actually can develop a QB, he could actually be pretty good, maybe one day. Right now, he's a true freshman in a situation where he's not being developed. You're not seeing any growth. You're seeing regression. And it's just like you put all these expectations on him. I did not forget, well, we're going to beat Ohio. We're going to be in the playoffs, Big Ten title contenders. This is what their media was saying with Bryce Underwood under center. So I don't want to hear about this. Oh, he's not good. He's not. I don't want to hear none of that. You paid $12 million to bring this kid in to be the savior, and now he's not. Oh, what a shocker! And so I don't feel sorry for y'all, Nevada.
Well, I mean, look, I mean, let's, I mean, all hyperbole aside, he's an athletic guy that can throw the ball hard, but has no touch, has very limited accuracy, and doesn't seem very smart. Doesn't seem to process really. Do you know what
Yeah.
and it's questionable character. I mean, those are all completely fair. That's who he is. So, like when I'm looking at him, I'm kind of going, what type of future does he have as a college quarterback? What type of future does he have as an NFL quarterback? Not that I care so much about the NFL, but like this guy's he's never gonna start. He's not going to be a starter for an NFL team. If you start for an NFL team, man, you better be super athletic. You better be super twitchy and running around out there, or you better be unbelievably accurate, fast processor, just ball distributor, game manager, whatever. Like he's none of those things. I mean, he's a rat. He's a walking turnover waiting to happen every time he goes out there and throws the ball. He's crazily inaccurate with it, and he's not improving. I mean, look at the growth we've seen in Julian Sayin from game one to game eight.
Yep.
Game one, they had him in the rocking chair, played it close to the vest, did his things, but now he's just like, he's freaking Aaron Rodgers out there firing the ball. I mean, Underwood's not improving. He's regressing. And that's got to be terrifying for Michigan fans who have completely launched their entire future and to this guy. And I called it at the time. I said he's going to be a bust. I said there's no way he can live up to these type of expectations. And I think I've been proved prophetic on it because this guy's not getting better. He's getting worse.
Yep. And like I said, I do not feel sorry for them bums because they were talking extra crazy. But now they're going to try to watch what they do. Excuses. They're going to try. Well, he was just a freshman, and how could you expect a freshman? No, I don't want to hear none of that. Like the tweets and receipts are still out there. The screenshots are there. We saw what y'all were saying. It didn't matter. We'll beat Ohio again. 5 in a row loading. You lost to Davis Warren. What makes you think you won't lose to Underwood? Like we heard all of this. I don't want to hear none of that. So there's that. So anyway, Mike Green, thanks for the 199. Indy throws their best pitch every game. Love it. Yes, they do. So another thing me and my great chat was talking about when comparing the teams is Indiana. Again, they haven't been in these waters. This is, for them, this is like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. For us, it's just a Tuesday to be number one and to have these expectations. And so, yes, they empty the clip. And we've been kind of pacing ourselves and and just little by little and building, because we've been there, done that. It's like the turtle in the rat in the hair. And so, no disrespect, I think Indiana is really good, but I agree, Mike. I do think they emptied a clip while we're like, hey, let's try this. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, 35-6. But it was just like it was never close and we're still dominant. While Indiana's like, oh my God, we got to score 65 points. Oh my God, we haven't been this, that's just what it is to me, Nevada.
Well, no, because that's the way it is. I mean, and Ryan Day is purposely trying to slow these games down so that, he believes that's the path to being a fresher team come playoff time. And if you look at the number of plays that we've done, I mean, I think we're like a game and a half less in plays than Indiana
Yep.
right now.
Yep.
And we think that's going to pay dividends down the road. And we'll see. Look, I think Indiana's a really good team, a really dangerous team. I think on any
Sure.
given day, they can be there for anybody. But at the end of the day, you know, I think the way that we're doing the slow and steady build, I think Ryan's taking a really logical approach. I think Maratti's taking a really logical approach from the strength and conditioning side. And I think Ohio State's building. I think this is an Ohio State team that's getting better every week. But again, we haven't emptied the clip. We're not having to go to the whip with the horse right now. And I think we're just kind of coasting, kind of going right now. And I think come playoff time, we're going to be a fresh team, and that's going to make a big difference.
Yep. Chess, not checkers. And that's the difference. Again, it's no disrespect. They're really good and they're coached well and all that. But we're just a different animal. We have not emptied the clip yet. And that's the difference, in my opinion, in that matchup that's on a collision course. All right. No way 8721. Thanks for the two. Is the Aaron Thomas decommitment connected to Brown? Nevada, what you got on that?
Yeah, this is a weird, not a weird one. This is one of those ones that, I generally don't ascribe to this thing of thinking whenever a kid decommits that Ohio State kind of cooled on him. But the information coming from the Aaron Thomas camp is that Ohio State kind of cooled on him. That's just facts. That's not spin. We're not here to carry water for Ohio State or it's just facts. So I think it's given the positive vibes that we're hearing out of the Brown camp, um, I think it's very difficult not to draw a connection between the two. So that's I think that's probably the latest and best information I have on that. Um, because apparently with Aaron Thomas, Ohio State, was reconsidering some of their commitments to Aaron, and I would only assume that means a reallocation somewhere else, and that would probably mean to Brown, and that's I'm strongly leaning towards that being the scenario for sure.
Yep, and we the bottom line is we're gonna get ours regardless. We can pick and choose. We can, make the best decision for the program and all that. Ryan Day repeatedly says that, and so to me, I just decommit mids and all this other stuff. I'm just man, my blood pressure does not boil at all with this stuff. Like I'm just telling you all that
Well,
because it,
let me just say, I just want to say one thing. It's just, and sorry to interrupt you. I
no,
apologize.
you good, brother.
It's the this is the part where it's a little because like we want to believe that Ohio State's on this moral high ground where if we make a commitment that we live up to it no matter what the circumstances we do. But the bottom line is kids change their mind all the time. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And so, in a world where, if you're in a relationship B and your partner can change their mind about whatever, you know what I'm saying? Then it's only right that you're able to change, like you can't be the only one that's kind of out there like, hey, I'm going to be out there in terms of like Ohio State, if they have a better option, they are duty bound to pursue that better option. And I really think that's where this one came down to. I think that they felt like they have a player that they've got higher rated. And look, Aaron Thomas is going to end up at a good school, great situation in terms of that. Do I like this part of Ohio State's dealings with? I don't. I don't like it. But do I understand it? I understand it 100%, and I support it 100% because I think Pantone and those guys have such a difficult job in terms
Yeah.
of doing this. And kids do this to them every week, every day. It happens all the time. Ohio State's got to have that flexibility as well. So sorry for the interruption, but I wanted to get that in there.
How dare you interrupt me, Nevada?
I know. I'm sorry. I apologize.
You're rude.
I know.
No,
True.
but no, it's listen, it's It's a fair point. It's a great point. This, I mean, if this wasn't big time college football, big boy college football, it is now. And like you said, duty bound. I like that quote. It's just true. And listen, that's not to say Ohio State is just grimy. No, Ohio State, we know this for a fact. They straight up, whether it be a guy on the roster, letting them know, hey, listen, this is where you project on the depth chart. You know what I'm saying? Like this, we will fully back you to transfer. We will help you. It's you're buried. This is our suggestion. They're very straight up, very straightforward. So this is not some back alley, just a sleaze ball type stuff. It's just business. Just like the kids when they play games and decommit and leave us high and dry in the 11th hour. It's business. So you're correct, Nevada. And so it is what it is because we're going to get ours regardless. Mike Green, thanks for the 199. Underwood runs around playing backyard buggy. Yeah, I mean, he just, and I was talking to Intrinsic, Nevada, and I mean, he's all over this stuff, talking about his development. I mean, he's that's the thing that's criminal is that knowing that we have such a great QB developer in Ryan Day, because listen, we've seen growth in our QBs. Even Will Howard. Will Howard got his feet fixed mid-season, Nevada. Like Ryan Day in the press has said, when people talk about, can he throw the deep ball? We knew that was, he didn't have a noodle arm. It was his feet. He identified the problem and fixed it mid-season. And then all of a sudden he became a freaking jugs machine himself, throwing accurate deep balls. He doesn't have anybody there developing him. He's out there, just running around, like you said, playing backyard buggy. And it's just, to me, it's a mess up there. It's a mess. I'm enjoying their hand wringing and their excuse making and their rolling back of their rhetoric, all of that, Nevada, over this kid.
Well, yeah, and he's frankly, he's just not what they build him up to be. They build him up to be like he was Terrell Pryor, and he's not Terrell Pryor. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's like Terrell Pryor. Terrell Pryor ran a 4.8. You know what I'm saying? And was just like kind of running around out in the backyard. I mean, he doesn't have any single attribute that is particularly outstanding. He's not accurate, and the worst of all, he's just not accurate as a
Right.
quarterback. And if you're not accurate, man, just we talked about how we prize accuracy, how that keeps the controlled passing game along. I mean, they're celebrating the announcers celebrating when he throws that little 5 yard pass to the guy in front of him. They're like, "Oh, he did a good job this time. He didn't miss him." And it's like, I mean, seriously, I'm like, listen, I'm like, man, the bar is so low for Fats, and yeah, they're excited when he does anything good.
Fats Underwood is hilarious. It's very underrated. Couple things as we close out. So yeah, Dev did hit us with the Buckeye Boys boom for Kevin Brown. He feels strongly that we do bag him. Also, make sure y'all tune in at 9 p.m. Big show, big time O tackle coming on the show, and Epi's dad. By the way, love Epi. His entire family is just great. So make sure y'all circle back at 9 p.m. to check out that show as well. But listen, great show, great way to kick off the week. 8-0. Go. It feels great to be a Buckeye, Nevada. I don't say that lightly. It's a beautiful thing. The haters are seething. We're 8-0 and just marching along, haven't peaked. And I just absolutely love it, man. Any final words for me? Hop off.
Well, no, I just think about just switch the positions. Think about if we were Michigan and they were Ohio State, how would you feel? You know what I'm saying? If they were 8-0 and just rolling through folks with their freshman eligible quarterback that was just shredding guys, and we have some fat guy running around out there that's like wildly inaccurate, taking selfies behind the thing during the game and acting like a clown. And like that's the guy that we've latched our star to with a coach wandering around the sideline. It looks like he doesn't even know where he is. I mean, I'd be ready to shoot myself right now. I'd be ready to turn in my Ohio State fan card So yeah, I'm so grateful that we're a Buckeye, and so grateful that I get to do this great podcast with you every night there, B. And at 7:10 p.m. no less.
Yes.
This is how good,
Yes.
very, very. Now you're gonna be done. You're not gonna be. It's not gonna be time for your roll into bed right now. It's not gonna be 9:30. B Moses got his jammies on, pulls it off, there, goes right to bed. You can actually be up and hang out with the kids now. You guys can look at
Yeah.
the Doppler. You can look at the Doppler together now. You can say, "Hey, son, this is the Doppler. This is how it works." What is that, Dad? That's a cold front coming into West Lafayette.
Oh, I love my Doppler. That is funny, man.
Oh,
Yes, the new schedule is definitely beneficial for the home life. I can go upstairs with the son and, shoot around on his little hoop in his room, or look at his latest, football card he likes. He likes to collect cards, and well, I buy them for him, but he opens them up and says, "Look, I got a Lamar Jackson," and all that. So yes, more time. I love it. I love it. I love it. But listen, we go ahead and bang out. Don't forget tomorrow, 8 p.m. After we go on, get something quick, and then come right back because Devin Funky Buck are going to do a live show of the unveiling of the CFP rankings. So we got a double whammy for y'all tomorrow, okay? Love y'all, Buckeye Scoop family. Chat, Buckeye Nation. We're going to see y'all next time. Peace.